And there you have it. Really, really compact stove, just fits in my hand. Unbelievably small, unbelievably unique. G'day everyone, my name's John and this is Gel Reviews. I review all sorts of different things that come my way, and if I think it's any good, I'll put it on this channel so that you can decide if it's something that you like. Now this is a very, very unique product. This is a folding cassette cartridge stove. This is actually a copy of a Japanese stove made by the Soto company. Now that particular stove from Soto is called the ST-320. In case if you're not aware, Soto actually makes really good camping stove equipment such as the Windmaster. This is a brilliant, brilliant stove. This is probably the best stove that I have, and it is so fast, so powerful, quite expensive too for what it is, but the quality of this product is second to none. Now I'm going to do a review on this in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. They actually made this kind of stove first of all, and they call it the ST-320, and then along comes the Chinese manufacturers and they copied it. And this is it. So I'm going to show you everything that you want to know about this stove. I'll just say straight off the cuff, I like it. I like it a lot, but I wonder if you'll like it. And I'll put it through its paces. I'll show you exactly how fast it'll boil up 2 cups of water, and I'll use a couple of ways to show that to you. I'll give you my thoughts at the end of the video, and I'll tell you the price that you can purchase this if you want to get your own. Now if you're interested in this product, I'll leave all links in the description of this video. Feel free to check them out if you want to. This is very ultra compact, very portable, but it runs on butane only, so that is something to be aware of. Anyways, I hope that you'll find this video informative and that you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So this is how it will come to you. It's in a cardboard package. There is no English on it, and it simply says XS01. When you open it up, you will see this little material pouch with a drawstring on it. There is some instructions here. The instructions are completely in Chinese or Japanese, I cannot tell. There is no English on it whatsoever, but there are some pictures and a few diagrams to help you out. And this is it. This is what it looks like. This is a little pot holder, and I'll demonstrate that to you very shortly. But this is it. So the dimensions of this are 14.5 centimeters, 7.5 centimeters, 2.3 centimeters. Very nice and compact. So it looks like it's made out of stainless steel and aluminium right there. There is a hinge here, and then there are what appears to be almost teeth on this side. There are these legs that sort of close up when it's closed like this, and to open it up, we kind of spread it out like that, and it opens up like so. Inside here is the stove itself, the burner head, but I'll just show this to you initially. On this side, there are some special prongs here, and this is to seat the stove into it. You'll see it's got a M style shape like that. When you don't put this in, it kind of will flop like that. When you do position this inside, it actually retains a shape like so. Now let's just take a closer look at the burning head itself. Okay, we have here an adjustable valve. This regulates the flame. We have here a piezo starter, so it's got a self-starter built in. We have here a way to connect the butane bottle, and we have a flame shield like that. There's the starting rod, and then we actually have the stove head itself. Feels pretty good. And this turns all the way out, all the way in. Cool. Let's see how to connect this to here. It took me just a minute or two just to work this out because the instructions weren't very clear. This only sits on where you have these prongs sticking out. In this stove head here, there are some specially cut out slots there and there. Now the way you put the stove into the holder is like this. You find that groove that's there and it just goes in front of that prong like so, and then you're going to be pushing it simply down like that. Just do that one more time. So it goes in and then fits down, and you'll see that now it will stand without the hinge section hitting the table. Let me just show you how this connects to a butane cartridge. We note that this goes forward and back like this. We will face that slot on this side, and the way it works is we put it like so and push again. So I'll just show you one more time. These little wings here push forward and it just pops in, and then you're going to be pushing it forward like this and turning it, and that's it, it's engaged. There is a indicator up here and it says set. To disengage it, we turn it clockwise and simply plonk it out. So one more time, I'm making sure this is forward, this goes into place and it connects. I will push it forward and you saw how the cartridge engaged, and I turn it anti-clockwise and that's it. We'll put it into the stand. We find our little slots right there and then twist it into place and that's it. Now this has a flame shield. This goes all the way back there, and that just provides a little bit of protection to the canister and these components here. We also have one of these little pot stands, and this can go on like that. Now it's kind of just sits on there like that. It doesn't lock anything in. You can put it there, you can turn it around and put it like this. Whatever suits the orientation of your pot, okay? So maybe something like that, and you'll see that the flame kind of goes over. This will become a bit charred and marked or bronzed just by virtue of the heat of the flame. All right, let's turn this on. It's quite a decent flame, as you can see, and you can get it nice and gentle down to a really light simmer. And turn it off. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a water boil test. I'm just going to trial 3 different pots. We will boil up 2 cups of water, and I'll just trial it in this type of a pot. In this type of a pot, there's already 2 cups of water there, 500 mils, and also just in this collapsible Sea to Summit X kettle, we'll put in 2 cups of water, and I'll fill that up too. There we go. 3 different types of pots. Now I'm in an outside area, but this will give you somewhat of an idea how long this stove will take to bring this to a rolling boil. Let's turn this on. Let's start with this one here. There we go, got a rolling boil, and we will call it quits. 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Okay. Alright, 4 minutes 28 seconds. Obviously it's not the fastest stove around, but that's not too bad. There was a slight little bit of breeze coming through, but in this style of pot, that's how long it took. Okay, we are next going to be trying this style of pot. Let's just see. All in the name of scientific research. Here we go. And you'll notice with this kind of pot, it actually does sit a whole lot better compared to this pot over here. This pot had a slight slant, just by virtue of it being a little bit more narrow. This one, however, does sit very nicely and stably upon the, let's call them teeth of the stove. Now we've got a rolling boil happening, and let's call it quits. 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So there you go, that's almost about 20 seconds improved time on that style of kettle compared to just a pot. And finally, we're going to be testing the Sega Summit kettle. Now, I haven't put on the lid to any of these, so you know, if you do have a lid on there, it does improve the boil time. And I'm going to call that a rolling boil. And that's just under 4 minutes. Isn't that interesting? So here we have 3 different style of kettles, and the times that we had was just under 4 minutes. This was 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and this was 4 minutes and 28 seconds. So that's 2 cups of water, bringing them to a rolling boil. Quite interesting. Now I've just finished boiling water in these different kettles and pots, so there is still a bit of heat upon this. Now in terms of touching this, these sides, they are hot, very hot to the touch. The legs themselves, they are fine. I can hold them, no problem at all. But this unit itself will require a bit of time to cool down, so just be aware of that. Okay, stay away from these edges until you've given it, I don't know, 5 minutes or so to cool down. Another great point about this stove is it's very easy to move around. Even when it's hot like this, you can sort of just shimmy it here and here. If I had to, I can pick it up. I don't recommend doing it like this, just support it a bit, but I'm just showing you that it can be done. Okay, so let me just share with you my thoughts on this particular product. I actually really like it. For the price that I paid for this, I think this is a great little stove that you can carry with you. It's very compact, and I like collecting different kinds of stoves, and this is probably one of my most favorite ones. Bang for buck, it's great. As you saw in the water boil test, it actually does the job just fine. One thing to be aware of, it just only works with butane fuel. So that's something to be aware of. You have to have a little bit extra space compared to your normal isobutane cartridges. They can come a little bit smaller. This only works with this, but if you've got the room in your kit, this will work just fine. Just be aware that this has a higher boiling point in terms of fuel, meaning you can only have it in sort of a little bit warmer climates. If you try taking this type of fuel to the snow, anything that's below -1 degree Celsius, this will liquefy inside and it will not work for you. So that's something to be aware of. But here in Queensland, in Australia, I've got no problems with that. This is the fuel of my choice and it's extremely cheap. So this is a very cheap stove to run at only $1.50 per canister. This is cheap as, and these canisters are found everywhere in these parts where I live. In terms of different sorts of pot sizes you can cook on here, I already showed you various different pots. Something to be aware of, this style of pot will teeter because as you can see, the teeth don't really fit quite right, so you kind of have to be at an angle. Okay. However, if you have anything that's even a little bit wider like this, not a problem. The Cedar Summit one, that sits beautifully. You can go a bit bigger in pot size like that, and even this 17.5 centimeter one, it fits just fine. And I think that would be the maximum size. Now, I would probably say that this probably suits a solo adventurer. This is not really for a group barbecue. This is for someone who is backpacking on their own, maybe 2 people, but realistically, I think this is really just for the solo traveler. Whatever kind of camping that you're doing on your own, I think this will work brilliantly. I found the flame output to be quite good on this, very adjustable, extremely variable. You know, you can get a nice roaring flame and you can get it down to a nice gentle simmer. So that is, I think, a very, very good stove head on here. Something else I like about the design here is that the M design like this does provide a little bit of wind protection. So you can see it like that. So depending which way your wind is blowing, it could be coming this way. So you'll be positioning it like that. And the flame head down here will not be as impacted. Now, whenever you're outside, wind is always going to be a factor that you have to contend with. But I think this design of stove actually does provide a little bit of wind barrier. Something that I'm a bit unsure about is this piece of metal. Now, I get why they put it there. I think they could have designed something a little bit better. However, as you start to use this, it will start to warp like that. Now, this isn't through anything that I've done to it. This is just through heat alone. It will sometimes scrape off some little charred black bits like you can see there. Right, but that just wipes off if you got a rag and then you pack it away. I think this could be a little bit better designed, but as it is, it just kind of sits on there. It is what it is. I found that this starter works for me flawlessly every single time. I have not had a problem with it at all. Simply turning it on and on it goes. I haven't had it fail yet in any way, shape or form. So that works really, really well. This is fine too. The whole thing is just a great little stove. In terms of the firepower, now depending where you read, if you look at the original Soto Japanese manufactured ST-320, they claim on there that this will have 2100 watts of power, which equates to 7,100 British thermal units. When I look at the listing from where I actually bought this from, they got 2 sorts of readings here, and I don't understand them. They say firepower 3,500 watts. Now that equates to 11,900 BTUs. Then they say the flame is 2,600 watts, which equals 8,800 BTUs. They're all just numbers on paper. You know, companies put all forms of numbers on paper. You saw me test this in an outside environment. There was a slight little breeze, and I think it performed just fine to cook up 2 cups of water in the various different pots. I think there was no problem at all with the heat that this outputs, and it did a great job. I'll just mention about the stand itself. I think this is a great stand that can be used on various different terrains. You know, it is stable, it's solid, and because it's lower to the surface that you're cooking on, you don't have the fear of something toppling over. So if I've got this on here, I know it's not going to topple over. It's actually very stable and very secure. Something else that might be a con, and that is this stove grill plate right there. I think in time this will actually deteriorate. I've seen it before in other sort of stoves. I don't know exactly how long this will last, but in time this will burn so much to the point where it'll become brittle and will fail. Now that might be, I don't know, a couple of years away. I really don't know, but that's just something that I think will ultimately end up happening with that. Now once it's all cooled down, we're going to detach all of this, and it's really, really quite easy. Close that like that. I will turn this clockwise and out it comes. Nice and easy, simple stuff. What I will do is I'll turn this so that it sits flat like that. This then simply sits inside the body of the stove and it closes up nice and flat. We'll put that leg there and that leg there, and there you have it. Really, really compact stove, just fits in my hand. Unbelievably small, unbelievably unique. This stove on its own weighs 356 grams. We'll get the bag, we'll put the stand inside. In total, this weighs 385 grams. And finally, let's just talk about price. So I purchased mine off AliExpress and I got it delivered to my door in Queensland in Australia, 35 Australian dollars. Now the original Soto ST-320 version of this, the original Japanese manufactured one, I can buy that from between $120 on Amazon to about $160 on eBay, which includes delivery. So that's for the original. So on average, $140, or I can get this $35 version delivered to my door. So I think value for money for a compact and unique stove. I'm very happy with what I paid for mine and keen to try it on a couple of my backpacking adventures. If you're interested in this, I'll leave some links in the description of this video. Feel free to use that if you choose. So let me know your thoughts about this Soto ST-320 copy. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you think it's a piece of junk. Put your comments in the video. And if you've got any questions, I'll try to answer them as fast and as best as I can. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Give it a thumbs up and I'll catch you on the next one.